The Anglo-Saxons, by Marc Morris, is an in-depth exploration of the history and culture of the Anglo-Saxon people, who inhabited England from the 5th to the 11th centuries AD. The book provides a comprehensive overview of their political, social, economic, and religious systems, as well as their art, literature, and warfare. Morris draws on a wealth of primary sources, including archaeological finds, manuscripts, and place names, to paint a vivid picture of Anglo-Saxon life and customs. The book begins by discussing the origins of the Anglo-Saxons, who were a mix of Germanic tribes that migrated to England in the wake of the collapse of the Roman Empire. These tribes, including the Saxons, Jutes, and Angles, settled primarily in the southeast of the island, displacing or assimilating the native British population. Morris provides a detailed account of the process by which these tribes established their kingdoms and began to organize themselves politically. The political structure of Anglo-Saxon England was based on a network of petty kingdoms, each ruled by a king or ealdorman. These rulers derived their authority from their relationship with their warriors, who were known as the fyrd. The fyrd was a militia system that ensured the defense of the kingdom and provided a means for the ruler to maintain control over his subjects. Morris describes how the kings would summon their fyrd during times of war, and how these armies were organized and equipped. The social structure of Anglo-Saxon England was rigidly hierarchical, with the king at the top, followed by the nobility, freemen, and finally, slaves. Morris discusses the various ways in which people could gain or lose their social status, such as through military service, inheritance, or criminal activity. He also examines the role of women in Anglo-Saxon society who, while not considered equals to men, could inherit property and exercise some influence over their households. The economy of Anglo-Saxon England was primarily agricultural, with most people living in rural villages and working as farmers. Morris provides a detailed account of the farming practices and tools used by the Anglo-Saxons, as well as their system of land tenure and inheritance. He also discusses the role of trade and commerce in the economy, focusing on the importance of towns and ports like London and Winchester. The religious life of the Anglo-Saxons was deeply intertwined with their political and social structures. Morris provides an overview of the pagan beliefs and practices of the Anglo-Saxons, including their pantheon of gods and goddesses, their system of sacrifice, and their belief in an afterlife. He also discusses the arrival of Christianity in England, beginning with the mission of St. Augustine in 597 AD, and its subsequent spread and influence over the next several centuries. Anglo-Saxon art and literature are another key focus of the book. Morris discusses the development of Anglo-Saxon poetry, including its various forms and themes, as well as its role in preserving the history and culture of the people. He also examines Anglo-Saxon art, including its metalwork, jewelry, and illuminated manuscripts, such as the famous Lindisfarne Gospels. Finally, Morris turns to the subject of Anglo-Saxon warfare, describing the weapons, tactics, and strategies employed by the various kingdoms. He discusses the importance of fortifications, such as hill forts and burhs, and the role of mercenaries and alliances in shaping the outcome of conflicts. The book concludes with an overview of the Viking invasions of England, which would ultimately lead to the collapse of the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms and the establishment of the Kingdom of England under the rule of the Normans. Throughout the book, Morris provides numerous examples and anecdotes that bring the history of the Anglo-Saxons to life, making their world accessible and engaging to modern readers. The Anglo-Saxons is an essential read for anyone interested in the early history of England and the peoples who shaped its culture and identity.